Hi, I'm Ryan, reporting for Kids First, and today I have the privilege of speaking with Mr. Dallas Jenkins, the director of the Best Christmas Pageant Ever, which releases on November 8th, 2024. Mr. Jenkins is best known as the creator, producer, director, and writer of the international hit series The Chosen, producer of Hometown, and over a dozen feature short films. And today we'll be talking about the best Christmas pageant ever.
Thank you so much for having me, Ryan. It's good to talk to you.
Welcome to Kids First, Mr. Jenkins.
Yeah, it means a lot. It's great.
Mr. Jenkins, you directed The Chosen, which was more a dramatic approach to the Nativity. What drew you into making a more comical Christmas movie?
Well, I love Christmas movies. It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite movie of all time. There's a movie from the 80s called A Christmas Story, which is wonderful. So I love Christmas movies, and I think the best Christmas movies have a combination of humor and heart, humor and emotions. And so the book, it's actually based on a book that's been around for over 50 years. And the book is so funny and so charming and also made me cry when I read it because it was so powerful and moving. So I just knew I had to tell this story. So sometimes, even in The Chosen, which can be a lot of drama, sometimes I love to get humor in there because I think humor is a great way to connect people. I think when you're watching it in the theater and you can laugh together, it means you're going to enjoy things even more. So I think that was one of the things that really drew me to this story was how funny it was, but yet it's also got a lot of heart.
Yeah, it has a little bit of dramatic, but more heart and comedy in it.
Yeah.
This movie is based on the book by Barbara Robinson. In what ways was it different from the novel?
There's certain things that you have to do that are different from a book. See, in a book, you can write about and read about their thoughts. You can hear what's in someone's head. I had to come up with certain scenes that might not be in the book, but that can support the story. Sometimes there's a dialogue that I have the characters say that wasn't in the book, but it helps illustrate and tell what it is that's on their minds. So that can be the challenge. But at the heart of it, I still wanted to make sure that I captured the story of the book because the book is so great. I didn't want to change it.
Because the book has sometimes more details, stuff that you can't enter in a film. I
Exactly.
really enjoyed watching the movie, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. One, because there was a lot of kids in it. And I know that shooting, I don't know, but was there any moments off or on camera that you really liked or any memorable moments?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, working with a lot of kids can be challenging because when you got a lot of them and they get together, they want to talk, they want to have fun. And of course, I want to have an environment on set that's fun, but there's a lot of hard work we have to do. And also, we have a limited time. See, when you're working with adults, you can work for a long time, and if you have to go longer than you planned, it's okay. Well, kids, it's the law, and I think it's a good law that you can't work them too long because they've got to get some sleep. You don't want to abuse them of any at all. So you got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time. So that was challenging. But I remember when we were filming the big scene, this is when they perform the Christmas pageant at the end of the movie. And everyone's together, and there's 250 people in the crowd, and there's people up on stage. The kids are performing it. Well, when we got to film that scene, there's a lot of emotion. Some of the characters are crying. And so it's hard for kids to do that, right? Because it's just tough to be an actor. But I remember their performances were so good that it made me emotional when I was watching it, when I was filming it. I'm just so proud of how good the kids did in this movie.
Yes, I really loved all of their performances.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Which character do you relate to the most?
I would say that I did relate to um, the dad because the dad in the movie, he is the one who, yes, he knows that the Herdmans are bad kids and they can be difficult, but he's got a little bit of insight. He's like, well, you know what? I'm going to volunteer and I'm going to try to help these kids. And even though he doesn't always understand them, and even though I also identified because he's not very good at like putting up the Christmas tree and hanging the lights, that's something that I'm really bad at myself. So I identify with that. But I loved the character and his spirit and his willingness to do the hard thing, even though he didn't fully understand it. And so that was something that I identified with. But I love all the characters in the movie, even the bad ones, even the kids that were unruly and bad behaved. I'm like, yeah, that was me sometimes too.
Last question, Mr. Jenkins. What do you hope the audience takes away from watching the best Christmas pageant ever?
Well, that's a great question. So, one of the things that I really hope people take away from is that even those people in our lives, particularly kids who struggle or who are mean, even, there's sometimes something beneath the surface, sometimes something we don't know that explains why they're hurting. And so I do hope that after people watch this movie, that they'll remember that those kids who are different, or those people who are on the outside, maybe they're outcast, maybe they're in poverty even, that we'll look at them in a different way, that we'll see them as God sees them, and that we'll love them as God loves them and give them a chance and offer redemption and forgiveness and hope that maybe they're not getting at home. So that's something that I really hope people take away from. And then I also hope they remember the Christmas story. The last words of the movie are, "Unto you a child is born." And that's what the angels said to the shepherds 2,000 years ago when Jesus was born. And I hope that people remember that this Christmas season.
Thank you, Dallas Jenkins, to have talked to me about the best Christmas pageant ever, which releases in theaters November 8th, 2024. I'm Ryan McKenzie, reporting for Kids First. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel to stay informed about upcoming films. Thank you. Bye.